And thank you to the OIS for giving us the opportunity to present here. I'm Sanjay Nayak, Chief Strategy Officer with Ocular Therapeutix, where we are trying to truly disrupt the treatment paradigm of retinal vascular diseases, which I should remind you is a forward-looking statement, and here are disclaimers. The challenge with retinal vascular diseases is the high treatment burden that leads to poor long-term visual outcomes that basically are caused by treatment discontinuations, by retinal fluctuations that could lead to potentially fibrosis and atrophy, and the suboptimal responses to VEGF-A only targeting agents. Our answer is AXPAXLI, which is a sustained non-pulsatile treatment that will provide pan-VEGF inhibition. AXPAXLI is a completely bioresorbable hydrogel that releases axitinib, a tyrosine kinase inhibitor using our EluTix technology. Now, axitinib is a highly potent TKI, and because it's so potent, a single injection and a single hydrogel of AXPAXLI is enough to provide consistent and continuous inhibition of all VEGF receptors for up to 12 months. And because it's completely bioresorbable, we can redose AXPAXLI without the risk of stacking multiple implants. AXPAXLI is the first clinical product that Ocular is developing as we transform into a retina-focused company based on 3 pillars: our promising clinical data to date, the de-risking of a regulatory pathway, and the targeting of expansive retinal vascular disease markets. Looking at our clinical data to date, in a phase 1 study in Australia, AXPAXLI remains the only sustained delivery TKI to show monotherapy efficacy in treatment-naive wet AMD patients. From our study conducted in the US, which was a head-to-head against Eylea, AXPAXLI has demonstrated potential best-in-class durability. With a single injection of AXPAXLI, 80% of the patients remained rescue-free per protocol for up to 10 months, and 100% of patients remain rescue-free per protocol up to 6 months. Our third study in NPDR shows that AXPAXLI is the only TKI that has shown clear signs of efficacy and durability for up to 1 year after a single injection. With this one injection, no patients in the AXPAXLI arm developed vision-threatening complications. More importantly, each and every patient in the AXPAXLI arm with diabetic macular edema showed improvements in visual outcomes at 48 weeks. So AXPAXLI has demonstrated proof of concept in 3 studies. We have shown monotherapy efficacy in treatment-naive wet AMD patients. We have shown potential best-in-class durability, and we have shown durable and sustained monotherapy activity in NPDR. That brings us to our second pillar, the de-risking of our regulatory pathway. In Feb 2023, the FDA released new draft guidance outlining exactly how they wanted the industry to conduct superiority and non-inferiority studies. At Ocular, we chose the superiority design, comparing a single injection of AXPAXLI to a single injection of Eylea, with the primary endpoint at 9 months. This study is expected to be fully randomized by the end of this year. Our second study, SOL-R, is a repeat dosing non-inferiority study that compares AXPAXLI dosed every 6 months to standard of care Eylea with the third arm of Eylea HD for masking purposes only. This study went from concept to design to the first patient enrolled in just 4 months. So with SOL-1, we are hoping to show superior durability. With SOL-R, we are hoping to show that AXPAXLI is comparable to standard of care in efficacy. Now, neither of these studies use sham injection for masking, as recommended by the FDA and as repeated by the FDA recently at the AAO meeting. For SOL-1, we have special protocol agreement from the FDA, and SOL-R is backed by a Type C written response from the FDA, which also confirmed that SOL-1 and SOL-R are acceptable as registrational studies for this drug, which significantly de-risks our regulatory pathway. Which brings us to a third pillar, targeting of expansive markets. Why expansive? Because of the high treatment burden that leads to a high rate of discontinuation, undertreated patients, and visual decline. And AXPAXLI is poised to address not just wet AMD, but also NPDR, where the currently approved treatment options are barely used. So at Ocular, we're trying to address the treatment burden that leads to poor long-term outcomes with AXPAXLI, a single injection, a single completely bioresorbable hydrogel that provides consistent and continuous inhibition of all VEGF receptors for up to 12 months. In conclusion, I wanted to end with this slide since there are many companies out here at various stages of funding and development. And this really helped us transform Ocular from where we were just a year ago. At that time, we had the same technologies, which was exciting, but we had just too many assets that we were trying to develop, and we could not really communicate a clear path to value creation. As a result, investors stayed away, and the company was always under-resourced from a financial standpoint, which in turn hampered our execution, and that in turn further eroded our credibility and communications. And the company was just stuck in a vicious negative feedback loop. And what we needed was a hard reset. And that hard reset was provided by Praveen when he came in with his new vision. The new vision was simple. Let's just focus on AXPAXLI, let's just focus on Retina, and try and develop first for wet AMD and then for NPDR. And once we were able to effectively communicate this vision, top-tier investors came right back in, and now the company is extremely well-resourced from a financial standpoint. That, in turn, has enabled us to attract, recruit, and retain top-tier retinal talent across various domains in the company, which in turn has helped us execute at an extremely high level this past year. So that hopefully helps us be more credible when we say we're truly trying to disrupt the treatment paradigm in retinal vascular diseases. I hope this is helpful, and thank you for your time.